planet of Thalassa was unlike any other human explorers had seen. Vast oceans stretched farther than the eye could reach, dotted with small islands that seemed like specks of sand in a universe of water. Its sky was a pale teal, and twin suns reflected on the calm waves during the morning. To outsiders, it looked peaceful, even welcoming. But beneath those waters lay something old, something long forgotten, silent graveyard of ships, their masts broken like the bones of giants. Captain Lena Voss had seen many strange worlds in her 20 years of exploration, but Thalassa called to her in a way that no other planet had. She stood at the edge of the landing platform on the research vessel Horizon, her eyes scanning the endless horizon. Around her, the crew bustled with anticipation. Scientists, engineers, explorers alike had gathered here to witness a discovery that had been whispered about in secret research logs for decades. "Captain," said Dr. Amir Solon, the lead archaeologist, pointing at the readings on his tablet. "The scans are stable. The structures we detected, they're definitely artificial, and they're massive." Lena stepped closer, her curiosity piqued. "How massive?" she asked. Dr. Solon adjusted his glasses nervously. "At least 2 kilometers long, and judging by the density of the material, they were built to last. Whoever made these ships, they weren't planning on them sinking." Lena felt a shiver run down her spine. She had seen large spacecraft wrecks before, but never a fleet resting in the depths of an alien ocean. These were different. The scans showed jagged lines rising from the water, hints of masts, towers, and hulls barely visible beneath layers of coral-like growths. To her, they looked like the bones of enormous creatures, frozen mid-motion. The Horizon's crew prepared their submersibles for the first descent. The small, streamlined vessels were designed to withstand high pressure and extreme cold. But nothing could truly prepare the team for what they were about to see. Lena watched as the last hatch closed and the submersibles began their slow descent into the deep dot below the waves. The light faded quickly. The teal-blue world above became a dim haze, replaced by darkness. The submersible's lights cut through the black water, revealing the strange, twisted shapes beneath. Lena felt a sense of awe mixed with unease. The ships were enormous. Their masts, broken and jagged, reached upward like the ribs of long-dead giants. The metal hulls were scarred, some torn open as if by massive forces. But despite the decay, there was a strange elegance to their construction, a symmetry that spoke of purpose and intelligence. "Look at this," Dr. Solon whispered over the intercom. "This is older than anything we've ever discovered. Possibly older than human space travel itself." "Do you see any signs of life?" Lena asked. "Not in the traditional sense," Solon replied. "But these ships, they're reactive in a way. Sensors are faintly humming. It's like they're waiting for something. Or someone." As the submersibles explored further, the team discovered alien markings etched into the hulls, patterns that glowed faintly when exposed to the lights. None of the crew could decipher them yet, but even their presence suggested a civilization advanced enough to create not only immense vessels, but also systems beyond their comprehension. Suddenly, one of the submersible's cameras caught something moving in the shadows. A large mechanical shadow, long and active, stirred as if awakening from a deep slumber. Lena held her breath. "Do not panic," she said calmly, though her heart raced. "It might just be a current moving the wreckage." But Dr. Solon shook his head. "No, that's something else. Something designed to protect these ships." Lena's mind raced. If these defenses had survived centuries underwater, what else could be hidden here? What had destroyed this fleet? And most importantly, what had made it so valuable that it warranted protection even in death? The submersibles carefully navigated closer to a massive ship at the center of the wreckage. Its hull was twice the length of the Horizon itself, and its shattered masts pierced the water like broken spears. The alien markings were more intricate here, weaving across the surface in elaborate patterns. Lena's eyes caught something unusual, a faint pulse of light coming from deep within the ship. "Captain, I think there's a power source still active," one of the submersible pilots reported. Lena felt a thrill of excitement. This wasn't just a graveyard. It was a treasure trove. If they could understand the technology preserved here, humanity could learn from a civilization far older and possibly more advanced than their own. The crew began to plan their next steps carefully. They would need to raise parts of the ship, study the power source, and analyze the defensive systems. But for now, they simply observed, documenting every detail. Lena watched as the submersibles moved between the skeletal masts, beams of light cutting through the murky water. The silence of the deep was profound, almost holy, as if the ocean itself were guarding these relics. Hours passed and the team made steady progress. They discovered storage bays filled with mysterious objects, long corroded but still recognizable as tools, devices, and equipment. In one chamber, the submersibles revealed what appeared to be a control room, with panels etched with symbols and what looked like touch-sensitive surfaces. It was clear the aliens had relied on intelligence, not brute force. To operate these vessels, Lena considered the implications. If humanity could reverse engineer even a fraction of this technology, it could change the balance of power across the galaxy. But she also felt the weight of responsibility. These ships were not just relics, they were the remains of a civilization that had faced catastrophe. What had destroyed them? And could the same fate threaten humanity someday? As the sun began to set over the horizon, Lena returned to the surface. The waves sparkled under the fading light, but her mind remained in the depths. She could almost hear the echoes of the alien crew, long gone, whispering through the water. The broken masts rising from the ocean were more than metal and coral, they were a message. A warning and an invitation, all at once. That night, the crew gathered in the Horizon's observation deck. Dr. Solon displayed the day's footage on a large screen. Shadows of the broken ships loomed over them. Intricate structures and alien designs preserved in remarkable detail. Tomorrow, Dr. Solon said, we begin the first phase of recovery. We will take small sections of the hull to the surface, study them, and attempt to activate the system safely. But we must proceed carefully. This fleet was not defeated by nature alone. Something or someone sank it, and we cannot underestimate the danger it still holds. Lena nodded. We didn't come here to destroy anything. We came to learn. And if we do this right, humanity will gain knowledge no one has ever had before. But we also have to respect what we've found. These ships, they are history, and history has teeth. As the crew went to rest, Lena stayed on the observation deck. She stared at the ocean, where the faint outlines of the broken masts shimmered beneath the waves. They were reminders of the past, yes, but also promises of the future. The challenge ahead would test humanity's courage, intelligence, and adaptability. And Lena knew one thing with certainty. Humans were not here to be spectators. They were here to rise, just as the broken masts would one day rise from the depths of history. Beneath the waves, the alien fleet lay in silence, watching, waiting. And somewhere deep in the shadows, systems long dormant began to stir, sensing the presence of new intelligence. Humanity had arrived in the ocean of Thalassa, had already begun to remember. The morning sun barely touched the waves as the Horizon prepared for its first recovery mission. Captain Lena Voss stood at the deck, eyes fixed on the pale teal waters of Thalassa. Below the surface, the skeletal masts of the alien fleet shimmered faintly in the sunlight. Lena felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. Today, they would touch history. Team, she called. Addressing the gathered engineers and scientists, we have one shot at this. Move carefully, think creatively, and remember, these ships are not just metal. They're a civilization's legacy. Treat them with respect. The team nodded. Among them was Dr. Amir Solon, still clutching his tablet like a lifeline, and Lieutenant Mara Jensen, an expert in deep-sea operations. They had spent the past hours reviewing the alien ship scans. Mapping out the safest entry points, the submersibles descended once more, this time carrying specialized equipment designed to lift and secure fragments of the alien hull. Lena watched from the horizon as the vessels disappeared beneath the waves, their lights piercing the murky depths. As the submersibles reached the first target, the crew gasped. The ship they had chosen was enormous, its hull scarred and jagged, yet still intact in places. The alien markings glowed faintly, pulsing rhythmically as if responding to the presence of the humans. "Captain," Mara said over the intercom, "we've got something unusual. Some kind of energy field. It's faint, but it's definitely active." Lena frowned. "Can it harm us?" "Unknown," Mara replied. "But it's not hostile. At least not yet. It seems more like a warning." The submersibles maneuvered carefully, avoiding jagged edges and collapsed structures. The lifting arms extended to secure a large fragment of the hull, one of the broken masts rising like a jagged bone. Slowly it was brought to the surface, water streaming off it in sparkling sheets. When the fragment broke the surface, Lena felt a surge of awe. The alien metal was unlike anything humans had ever seen. It was both strong and light, resistant to corrosion, and etched with patterns that seemed almost alive. She reached out, fingers hovering above the surface, as if touching it could connect her to the long-dead civilization that had built it. "Beautiful," Dr. Solon whispered. "It's more than we hoped for. Every line, every symbol, it's a story waiting to be read." As the team began analyzing the fragment, they discovered compartments hidden within the structure. Inside were devices that emitted faint pulses of light. Engineers carefully activated one, and it hummed to life, revealing a holographic display of alien symbols and maps. Lena realized that the aliens had designed their ships to preserve knowledge even after disaster, but the discovery was not without danger. As they worked, the submersible sensors detected movement. The shadows beneath the water shifted unnaturally, as if something had awakened. Lena's heart pounded. Captain Mara's voice was tense. "We're not alone down here." Lena scanned the readings. Something large was moving toward the submersible, automated defenses left by the aliens, long dormant but still functional. They were sleek, fast, and deadly, designed to protect the fleet from intruders. "Evasive maneuvers," Lena ordered. "Keep the whole fragment safe and avoid direct confrontation. Use speed and intelligence." The submersibles darted through the water like silver fish, weaving between broken masts and coral-like growths. The alien drones pursued, scanning for intruders. Lena watched anxiously as Mara guided the vessels with precision, dodging energy pulses that could easily crush human technology. "Human reflexes are remarkable," Mara muttered. "They can't predict our improvisation." Indeed, the drones had been designed to counter predictable movements, but human creativity was unpredictable. Using clever maneuvers, the team managed to escape the automated defenses while keeping the recovered fragment intact. Lena realized something important. Humanity's advantage was not brute strength or advanced weapons, it was adaptability. The ability to think under pressure, to improvise solutions in real time. Back on the horizon, the crew studied the recovered fragment. Dr. Solon deciphered parts of the holographic map, revealing locations of other ships in the fleet, their layouts, and even indications of cargo or weaponry. Each fragment provided more insight into the aliens' technology and their civilization. Lena felt a sense of wonder mixed with responsibility. They were learning not only about the ships, but also about the species that had built them, their ingenuity, their mistakes, and ultimately, their demise. Over the next several days, the team continued their careful work, raising additional fragments and avoiding the fleet's automated defenses. With each fragment, humanity's understanding of the alien civilization grew. Lena observed as engineers began combining alien materials with human technology. They built tools, power cells, and sensors that functioned in ways humans had never imagined. One evening, as the twin suns dipped below the horizon, Lena walked the deck alone. The water reflected the glow of the raised hull fragments, making the surface shimmer like a field of stars. She thought about the humans who had once dreamed of reaching beyond their world, about the aliens whose creations now rested beneath the waves, and about the future that awaited her crew. "This is only the beginning," she murmured to herself. The next day, a significant breakthrough occurred. Engineers discovered a central chamber within one of the raised fragments, a control hub that seemed to be the brain of the ship. When activated, it projected a three-dimensional map of the surrounding fleet. showing positions of each vessel, energy flows, and possible weak points in the automated defenses. Lena realized that they had not just found relics, they had found a functional system that could be understood, learned from, and potentially used. "Captain," Dr. Solon said, his voice shaking with excitement, "if we can replicate even part of this system, we could revolutionize human engineering. This technology. It's beyond anything we've ever imagined." Lena smiled, feeling a mix of pride and caution. "Then we proceed carefully. Knowledge is powerful, but it comes with responsibility." As the Horizon continued its work, the team faced more challenges. Storms raged across the oceans, mechanical failures tested their skills, and the automated defenses grew more aggressive. But humans adapted. They developed new strategies, combined engineering techniques, and relied on creativity and courage. Every obstacle became an opportunity to prove that humanity could rise to any challenge. During one particularly tense operation, a fragment nearly slipped back into the depths. The submersible pilot, Mara, reacted instinctively, using a combination of thrusters and magnetic clamps to stabilize it. Lena watched from the deck, heart in her throat. As the fragment slowly emerged from the water, secured by the team's efforts, "That," Lena said, her voice filled with admiration, "is human ingenuity at work. Nothing can match it, predictable or not. We adapt, endure, we rise." As the days passed, the Horizon transformed into a hub of discovery. The alien technology was slowly integrated with human systems, creating hybrids that were stronger, smarter, and more efficient. The crew developed new sensors, energy shields, and propulsion systems based on the ancient designs. It was a slow process. But each success reinforced a truth Lena had long believed. Humans were exceptional not because of their technology, but because of their will, intelligence, and creativity. One night, as the crew gathered to rest, Lena stayed on the observation deck, staring at the dark waters where the rest of the alien fleet lay hidden. The broken masts shimmered faintly beneath the surface, like bones of the past reaching toward the future. Lena could sense that the fleet was no longer entirely dormant. Systems long inactive were beginning to respond to human presence. And she knew that this awakening was only the beginning of a far greater challenge. "History has teeth," Lena whispered, recalling the words she had spoken days earlier. And now, humanity is learning to bite back. Beneath the waves, the alien fleet waited, its skeleton-like ships sensing the presence of the new intelligence among them. But humans were not just intruders. They were learners, creators, and problem solvers. And as long as they continued to adapt, they would rise above every challenge. Just as the broken masts of history were rising from the depths, the Horizon glided across the waves, carrying fragments of the past and the promise of the future. Each recovered piece told a story, and each discovery reminded the crew of the responsibility that came with knowledge. The alien fleet was no longer just a graveyard. It was a classroom, and humanity was among the first students in a lesson older than time itself. And so, the team continued their work, day by day, fragment by fragment, proving that humans were capable of more than survival. They were capable of rising, learning and creating in ways that no other civilization could. The ocean of Thalassa held many secrets. But Lena knew one thing for certain. Humanity had come to rise, and nothing enchant or modern could stop them. The ocean of Thalassa was calm under the twin suns, but beneath the surface, tension crackled like electricity. Captain Lena Voss stood on the Horizon's deck, her eyes scanning the horizon, aware that the days of careful exploration were about to change. The alien fleet was no longer entirely dormant. The systems of the skeletal ships stirred, sensing the humans who had dared to awaken their ancient secrets. Captain Mara Jensen called, her voice sharp over the intercom. "The fleet. It's responding to us. Energy readings are increasing. The automated defenses are converging on our position." Lena's mind raced. For days, they had been carefully raising fragments, studying the alien technology and integrating it with human systems. They had learned, adapted, and innovated. But now, The fleet was no longer passive. It had become aware, and awareness meant threat. "Prepare all systems," Lena ordered. "We are not here to provoke, but we are not leaving empty-handed either. Keep the fragments safe and be ready to defend them." The first wave of the fleet's automated defenses rose from the depths. Sleek, metallic drones moved with precision, scanning for intruders. They fired pulses of energy at the submersibles, testing their defenses. Lena watched the tactical display, her eyes sharp. Evade and observe. Do not engage unless necessary. Use what we've learned. Our unpredictability is our strength. Mara guided the submersibles through a maze of broken masts, using sudden maneuvers and unexpected patterns to avoid the energy pulses. The drones were designed to anticipate predictable actions, but humans were unpredictable. Every evasive move demonstrated ingenuity that no automated system could fully counter. "Human reflexes are remarkable," Dr. Solon muttered from the observation deck. "They adapt in ways we never predicted." The Horizon's engineers worked quickly, activating some of the recovered alien systems. Energy shields shimmered around the submersibles, providing temporary protection. Lena realized that combining human creativity with alien technology gave them an advantage the fleet had never anticipated. As the day progressed, the fleet grew more aggressive. Larger drones emerged, shaped like elongated masts, with pulsating cores of energy. Their weapons could tear through the human vessels if they were not careful. Lena's crew relied on every skill they had learned: speed, precision, and adaptability. "Captain, can't outrun them forever," Mara warned. "We need a plan that uses the fleet's own design against it," Lena thought quickly. The alien ships were connected, a network of systems that communicated silently through energy pulses. If they could hack into the central control hub, the brain they had discovered in the raised fragment, they could disable or redirect the defenses. But it was risky. One mistake could trigger a full fleet-wide attack. "Dr. Solon, can you access the central hub remotely?" Lena asked. "I can try," Solon replied, hands moving over the holographic interface. "It's complex, but if we synchronize with our hybrid systems, we might be able to send a signal that overrides the fleet's targeting protocol." Lena nodded. "We don't just survive. We adapt." The engineers and scientists worked together, blending human intuition with alien technology. Pulses of energy ran through the raised hull fragment, connecting to the central systems. Lena felt the ship vibrate beneath her feet as energy surged through the hybrid circuits. Suddenly, the fleet's drones paused, mid-tack. Their energy cores flickered, and the aggressive movements slowed. The humans had gained a moment of control, enough to maneuver safely through the skeletal ships. "Now," Lena ordered, "bring the rest of the fragments to the surface." The crew acted with precision. Submersibles carried the recovered sections, avoiding collapsing masts and jagged holes. Energy shields protected them from stray pulses and the fleet's systems, confused by the human override, no longer attacked with full force. Lena's strategy was working, but the challenge was not over. Deep within the fleet, a massive ship began to rise from the depths, far larger than any fragment the humans had encountered. Its hull was intact, its masts reaching toward the sky like a cathedral of metal bones. Energy flared along its surface, signaling that it was aware of the humans' intrusion. "Captain?" Mara's voice trembled slightly. "It's activating fully. This is the source of the fleet's power. If it reaches the surface, we could be trapped." Lena clenched her jaw. "Then we rise to meet it. Humans don't back down from challenges. We use what we've learned, and we turn fear into strategy." The Horizon approached the massive ship cautiously, deploying hybrid drones to scout the area. The alien vessel was majestic and terrifying, its hull pulsing with energy, its systems alive in ways humans were only beginning to understand. Lena felt a mix of awe and determination. This was the pinnacle of their discovery test, of human courage, intelligence, and adaptability. "Prepare the hybrid interface," Lena ordered. "We connect to the central system directly. We don't fight with weapons alone. We fight with our minds, our creativity, and our will." Dr. Solon and the engineers activated the hybrid system, linking human control protocols with the alien interface. Energy surged as the connection was established. Lena could feel the hum of the alien ship beneath her feet, alive and aware, sensing every movement. "Remember," she said to the crew, "they expect predictable behavior. Be unpredictable. Think differently. Adapt." The ship reacted, sending pulses of energy in defensive patterns. But the humans countered with synchronized maneuvers, guiding the massive vessel using logic it could not anticipate. The skeletal masts, once symbols of the aliens' dominance, became pathways for human ingenuity. Using the hybrid systems, Lena's team redirected energy flows, shutting down key defensive protocols. Slowly, the massive ship's aggression subsided. Lena felt a surge of triumph. Humanity had faced the unknown, and through intelligence, collaboration, and creativity, they had prevailed. The alien vessel, once a threat, now floated silently beside the horizon. Its systems in partial harmony with the humans' hybrid network, the crew celebrated quietly. They had not destroyed the fleet they had learned from it, adapted it, and survived its tests. Lena looked out at the skeletal masts rising from the water. They were no longer just relics of a lost civilization. They were monuments to human perseverance and ingenuity. Captain Mara said softly, "We did it. We turned fear into understanding." Lena nodded. "Yes, and we did more than survive. We rose to meet history itself. The broken masts are no longer just bones. They are proof that humans can learn, adapt, and thrive, even where others could not." Over the next weeks, the crew continued their work. They raised more fragments, integrated systems, and documented everything carefully. Each recovered piece told a story of the alien civilization, their technology, their knowledge, and ultimately, their mistakes. Lena realized that humanity had not just discovered history. They were becoming a part of it. One evening, as the twin suns set and the ocean reflected fiery streaks of orange and pink, Lena walked the deck, thinking about the future. The skeletal fleet, now partially under human control, had become a symbol, a reminder that even the most advanced civilizations could fall, but those who adapt and innovate could rise stronger. Dr. Solon joined her, holding a fragment etched with alien symbols. "Captain," he said, "this is more than a discovery. It's a lesson. Humans can take the past and turn it into a future." Lena smiled. "And that is exactly what we must do. Knowledge is power, but understanding is greater. We have risen, just as the broken masts rise from the depths. And we will continue to rise, no matter what the universe throws at us." Beneath the waves, the rest of the alien fleet remained silent but aware. Its systems monitored the humans, learning from them, adapting to them. But it was clear the newcomers were not ordinary intruders. Humans had proven themselves capable of creativity, courage, and intelligence, qualities that no automated system could fully counter. The horizon glided across the calm waters, carrying fragments of the past and the promise of the future. The broken masts, once symbols of defeat, now symbolized resilience and ingenuity. Humanity had faced a challenge older than their own history and had risen, turning fear into knowledge, danger into opportunity. And so, on the planet of Thalassa, amidst the skeletal remnants of a forgotten civilization, humans proved once again that they were extraordinary. They adapted, learned, and rose, turning the echoes of history into a legacy of hope, courage, and ingenuity. The broken masts would forever stand as reminders. History may test all who dare, but humans are built to rise.